Danielle, what do you remember about young people? What did they disagree about back in middle school?
Most of the conflicts that arised were because people were not confident with who they were. They were still finding themselves.
You're in a store or you're in a parking lot, you hear a child scream, and you turn and you see a parent hitting or harming their child. What do you do in that situation?
You need to be able to approach that individual, if you choose to intervene, in a calm, centered manner. You have to keep your own center. If you're going to go over there and yell at this person, then you're going to just be generating more hostility and more negativity and more violence in the world, essentially.
Talk to me so you can see what's going on.
Oh, Diamo, what's your experience been in diversity training?
What I find out is once you're in there, you open yourself up. When everyone leaves, it's kind of like no one talks about it anymore. And it's like that's why we have to keep having these continued trainings, and people ask why.
So let's start with open heart. What's a technique or a strategy that we can use to develop that?
Mohandas Gandhi said that if just one person developed love, the highest form of love, that love could neutralize the hate of millions. It's that powerful.
Give us the balance to live simply, sowing the seeds of peace.
Catherine Bloom is with us. She has a one-woman show, The Accidental Activist. So what is the creative's role in activism? Do they have a different role than people who are not so talented or creative?
I love that question. Well, for one thing, I think everybody is talented and creative, but I think for people who have cultivated their creativity as the primary focus of their life, they have the capability to imagine the world as it could be, and then to express that imagining for other people.
Well, my name's Kurt Minnick, and I'm a small business owner. I do educational program evaluation. I was driving to Santa Fe on Friday morning and listening to the radio, and I was listening to the Peace Talks, and they had a show about
nonviolent communication, a verbal technology for exchanging information and resolving differences peacefully. We're going to begin by talking with Jorge Rubio.
What I really liked about the Peace Talk show, and I've listened to 2 or 3 of them, they talk about real-life situations, and if they talk about real-life situations, I do a much better job of remembering what they're talking about and using the principles which are valuable in real life.
Most of the feelings that we use due to our cultural conditioning are actually accusations or judgments. People use words like I feel attacked, I feel ignored, I feel abused. Those are not what we call feelings.
I was biking a couple days after the show, and I came across a couple bicyclists on the bike path that I needed to get around. I went around them, but I didn't say anything to them, which is the normal protocol for passing people. One of the bikers said something about I should have indicated I was going to go past them. I said something nasty to them about they should have moved over, and then I moved on and went on my way to the bike path. Well, the bike path ends, and I had to come back. This time I approached the 2 bicyclists, and instead of going by them, which would have been my normal protocol, I stopped and apologized to them and said that I was wrong for reacting to their comment in the way I did. They also recognized that they had reacted wrongly and apologized as well. We both left to pursue our rest of the day, and I think in a better way, instead of holding on to that negative energy throughout the rest of the day. We dealt with something and we went on, and I think that was a result of the show that I had listened to and the way to communicate in a better way.
the idea for Peace Talks really started right after September 11th. Paul and I were having pretty intense, serious discussions every evening, feeling really hopeless and helpless about what was happening in the world.
Yeah, and out of those conversations grew the question that we challenged each other essentially with, was what can we do? We can just sit here and complain about it, but is there something that we can create that might have some impact? So we thought about what are the different things that we do well.
Mm-hmm. Paul's got a background in radio production. I'm a leadership coach and facilitator, and he invited me to be the host of a radio program looking at conflict resolution and peacemaking.
Wouldn't necessarily be a political program, but it would allow people to get some ideas about how they could really work toward peace in their own lives, in their own smaller circles.
Yeah, and we were really operating on the theory that any kind of violence, even on a global scale or large nation-to-nation scale, really starts within an individual's heart. It really starts with an individual not getting their needs met. And so we wanted to look at issues like creating justice for people, but we also wanted to take it down to just an individual level of how people make peace within themselves or between two people, in small groups, in neighborhoods, in families. And then looking also at communities where people tend to have conflict, like in the workplace or at school, consumer conflict. We really wanted to address just the day-to-day issues of how people can prevent violence.
So typically what we would do is go to KUNM after we'd identified the guests and come up with some an outline for the program and get everybody booked and ready to go. We'd show up in the studios there, KUNM Studio A, and we will record the show.
How do you help people deal with anger? Anger is such a powerful force. Yeah. And for example, I was trying to use NVC with my husband last night, and when he didn't respond exactly how I wanted him to be, I screamed at him. So, you know, A for effort, F for empathy here.
Yes.
What do we do with this anger?
Well, so nonviolent communication helps us slow down the process enough so that we can do three things. First, detect that we are angry and therefore disconnected. Second, really engage with it. Really feel what is that's going on inside me right now that I feel this rage. And if you do that, you stumble into your feelings and needs.
We get a lot of positive feedback about the show, but occasionally people will say that we're wasting our time because war is inevitable and violence and conflict are just part of the human condition. And I disagree with that. I believe that we need a critical mass of people to believe in the possibility of peace. And I've seen in my own life, even though, yeah, there's still a lot of anger, frustration, overreacting emotionally, I've still seen incremental improvements in my awareness of anger and hostility towards people, in my desire to learn conflict resolution skills, and in my motivation to start applying them, even in very difficult situations with people who are very close to me or strangers who I think I'll never see again. So I just want to encourage people to learn these skills and begin to use them so that peace can be a possibility.
We hope to touch a lot of lives and make a difference.
'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Ooh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?